This episode of All the Mods 10 is all about Apotheosis. We unlock all of our world tiers, set up an Enderman farm for gems and mythic materials, and we upgrade our armor with Apothic enchants and gems. Hello there, welcome back to another episode. If you missed last episode, we set up a tier 5 Hephaestus Forge and finally got ourselves the Allemadium Alloy Paxel. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. I wanted to take a little break from, doing crazy tech things, and I just wanted to spend some time kind of organizing around my base. By the way, I changed the potion brewer, the way I had it set up, so now it's a little bit cleaner. So let me show you guys how I did that. I have the potion brewer set up over here, and directly behind it is a pattern provider, and then in this corner, we have a barrel right there, and it's all connected by inventory cables underneath the machines. So the interface here is stocking blaze powder, and then the pattern provider obviously has the pattern for the potion, and this will not work for potions that have two of the same items. For example, the flight potion, the long one, like the 30-minute one, because it's redstone and then redstone again. So it's going to put both of the redstones in one slot rather than one here and one here. And then the whole thing breaks. So watch out for any recipes that have two ingredients that are the same. And then again, our pattern provider is set to blocking mode, and it's locked until the crafting recipe is returned. And I found out that the slot for the glass bottles is slot 2. So we included that. And then the blaze powder is slot 8. And once you have that set up, this works much better. And I have the potion brewer directly outputting, pushing the ingredients behind, which is to the pattern provider. So I'll include this in the description below. And this is kind of the setup. It's cleaner and nicer this way. And over here in our enchanting room, I ended up changing the way I had my experience folder. So I did actually put a wireless connector underneath here. Let's take a look. So I have an interface here being stocked with lapis, and then there's a wireless connector here with a storage bus on it. So the storage bus is keeping our experience inside of this experience folder. So we actually can see it inside of our system and grab buckets out of it if we want to craft anything that uses experience, like the chicken feeds. So that's set up, and now we don't have to have a drawer full of lapis. It just pulls from the interface, and we can always have that in our system. Okay, and here by our bees, you can see that we got rid of the tank, and we're directly inputting the experience into our interface. And once it goes into here, the only place it can go to is the experience holder from Just Our Things, because we have the storage bus on there. So it goes directly there. All right, now the other thing you might see is this chest is kind of getting full of all of these Apotheosis gems. And I want to take care of that today because I don't want this to just kind of keep filling up with those. And if you notice, we're only getting cracked, chipped, and some very small amounts flawed gems. If you take a look at flawed, these are the only two we have that are flawed. Apotheosis has changed the way it works. Now you can have world tiers for the items that you have. So if you press Ctrl-T, you get this little screen. So it shows right now we are on Haven, which is unlocked by default if you pick up one affix item, which is any of the Apotheosis things that have some kind of affix on it. So you start out on the Haven tier, and then you have to unlock different world tiers in order to be able to get the other rarities. So right now, because we are on the lowest tier, the most we get is common, and then we get some uncommon and rarely some rare. Same thing for the gems. As you unlock and get to higher tiers, like by the time we get to Pinnacle, we'll have a high chance of getting mythic items and perfect gems. So we're kind of going to go through that today and also try to set up salvaging for these gems so we can turn them into dust. But before we can do that, so if you take a look at the salvaging table, it requires gem dust to make it. And the way you get gem dust is by breaking down gems inside of the salvaging table. So at first, the first ones that we want to get, let's just grab these guys, I guess. You have to crush them with an anvil. So let's go over here. We do that and we get some gem dust. And now with that, we can make the salvaging table and it'll be easier to take care of those. Okay, now I want to see if we can pull directly from here into the salvaging table, because as far as I know, you can't do that with armors. So let's grab a manager, barrel. Okay, so it looks like it does work with gems. So we can go ahead and stop that. And then we open up this area and we can just put the salvaging table, let's say here, for example. So now in this Super Factory Manager code, we just do another thing. Let's say like every 100 ticks do. Again, we're going to input Apotheosis gem from barrel, and we will output that to the salvager. Then we will input from salvager, let's say bottom side just in case, and output to interface. So that'll go straight to our system. Okay, and we should be able to copy the labels. There's the salvager. Okay, so now all of those gems should start to go. And again, it's every 10 seconds, so it kind of happens slowly. Okay, and all of those gems have cleared up, and now if we look at dust, we only have 190. That seems incorrect. I think most of them got deleted, but as they trickle in one by one, it should be okay now. It's going up. We may have tried to put too many inside of the salvaging table, and some of them may have gotten voided, but oh well. I'll leave that for now and kind of monitor it and see how that goes. But this is much better now. Okay, we will eventually do something with those gems, but we don't need them right now, and they're the low tier ones anyways. So let's take a look at how we increase our world tier into the next one. The way you can check that is by going through your advancements by pressing L, and up here in the top right corner there's Apothic world tiers, and you can see that the first one, you can open it using Control T, and then the first one, the Haven tier, you get by holding any affix item. The next tier, you need to hold a full set of equipment plus one thing in your hand. So let's go to the end, or I'm sorry, the nether. And around the world, you'll see bosses, mini bosses, like this guy spawning. And if you kill him, you get some kind of item. So we got a chest piece. You can also set up a mob farm, but I don't need to do that, I don't think. If you come to a Young's Fortress like this, I've already looted these guys, but these chests will have Apotheosis gears. So because I already looted this one, what I can do is go /RTP to teleport to a random location. And we can do the same thing with the Explorer's Compass and look for a fortress. Okay, and there's one right here. So let's fly over to that main area. Now if you check these chests, you can see that this one this one. So these are all Apotheosis affixed items. Okay, and with just a little bit of looting, we get all 4 of our things. So we have a helmet, the boots. Let's try wearing these guys. There it is. And you hold the sword in your hand and you get the frontier unlocked. So we'll put our armor back on. Delete all this garbage. And let's just go back home. Okay, so we press Control T now, and you can see the frontier is unlocked. We can click on it and click Activate. And now that it's activated, you look at the details, and you can see now we have a 60% chance of getting uncommon, 1% to get epic. And we also have plus 35% experience gain in luck. But the monsters have plus 4 armor. So the monsters that are spawning also become stronger and stronger per level of your world here. Now let's press L again and see what the next thing we need to do. So we need to kill an Apothic invader. The ones with the green plus signs are ones we've already done, and there's one remaining, which it doesn't say what it is. But if we look at the ones with the green pluses, we can see we have helmet, hand, legs, and chest. So the only thing that's left are the boots. Okay, so we put on these boots, the green ones, and now we are set. So again, Control T, and now we can activate that one. And if you take a look, we have more luck, more experience gain. The monsters are stronger, and now we have a 50% chance of getting rare items and only a 10% chance of commons. So we take a look at the next thing we need to do. We need to put on a full set of rare gear and kill the wither. So let's go ahead and find a full set of rare gear, which are the blue ones. So I'll start with that one, with the boots. And as I'm finding higher tier stuff, I'm gonna hold on to those because it does count for the next tier as well. Okay, so there was a mob that spawned, I killed him, and now with the helmet, we got the summit tier. So let's go ahead and activate that one. And take a look at our thing. So now we need to acquire a full set of epic gear, which are the purple ones. So you can see that the hand I have done, but I need to do all of the armors as well for the epic tier. So here I am at a different fortress and see if we can't get some epic stuff. So there's the pants, the chest, let's put those guys on. And if you take a look, we got all of those in. Okay, and here are the boots, which are the last things I need. Well, to complete all of the things. But there's one remaining, and that is the end dragon. So let's go back home and order us an end dragon. Okay, and once we kill the end dragon, you can see that we unlock the pinnacle tier. So we press Control T, there's the pinnacle tier. We go ahead and activate that. And now we have this unlocked. So we have plus 100% luck, plus 125% experience gained. All of the monsters, I don't know if this is every monster or just the Apothic ones that spawn, but they will be much tougher. And we have 25% chance of getting the mythic armors and a 10% chance of getting perfect gems. So with all of that unlocked, we should be in much better shape for Apotheosis. Where's Miss Sunday? Hello? Miss Sunday? What happened? Why are you so small? Hey, you guys, check this out. You can actually retexture any feeding slab by just clicking on it with another slab. I can't believe I never knew that before. So I waited for a while, even after having maxed out world tier. We should have 0% chance of getting common gems or cracked gems. And it looks like from our bees, we're still just getting the lower tier ones. And I thought maybe I needed to reset the ambers, so I went ahead and made new wither ambers to test it out, but I'm still just getting the cracked ones. So it looks like with your wannabes, you're still going to get the cracked versions. So I'm still converting those into dust. And while we're on this tangent with Apotheosis, maybe we should cover the whole thing and go ahead and set up a farm in the end. That's usually a good way to do it because of Enderman. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're here at the end. We want to make a big platform to be able to spawn a bunch of Endermen. And I don't know if it's changed with the new Apotheosis, but previously it was better to have naturally spawned Endermen because those are the ones that would get you the loot you needed. If you spawned it through an Apotheosis spawner, you would not get the gems or the armors. So we want to make natural spawns, which is why we want to go out a bunch of blocks. So there's no other place for them to spawn except for the platform that we're going to build. And to do that, I don't want to just like make a long row of blocks going all the way out there. I want to be able to fly out there and quickly place a block in midair. And there's a couple of ways to do that. You could do that with like an Ars Nouveau spell, but something cool that has just been added is construction sticks. This is basically construction wands, but that wasn't being updated in time. So the person who made construction sticks just went ahead and bypassed that mod. The way it works is you get all these sticks, and there are also these templates that give you different upgrades. So the unbreakable one doesn't let you use durability. And then if you look at the angel stick template, this one lets you apply blocks in midair. And if you take a look at it, it's just a feather with some gold. So it's super easy to make. And it says, apply the template to your stick in a crafting table. So you might put the crafting table down and then put your stick in there and now you see that nothing happens. Well, if you go ahead and press U on it and go under the smithing table, you see that each one requires a different kind of block. So we're going to need a feather for the angel one and crying obsidian for the indestructible one. So let's grab a feather. And what was the other thing? Crying obsidian. So now we should be able to do this. Okay, so now you can see that it's got angel on it if you hold shift. And if we do that again, it's going to have unbreakable. So now, if we grab a bunch of endstone, you can see that we can do this and it doesn't cost any durability. And how do we place blocks midair? So if you have a keybind for the construction, I don't think it's bound by default. So you'll have to go into your options, controls, keybinds, go to category and type in construction sticks. And you'll see it says open stick options. So I have that as the asterisk or the multiplication sign. And when you press that, it opens up this menu and you can select different settings, and under construction, you can put it in angel and you'll see the little feather icon on it. I believe you have to have a block in your offhand. Yeah, so you put the block in your offhand and then you can build the block in midair. So with that, we can go ahead and just fly out a bunch of blocks. Okay, so let's say right over here. And we're going to go down a bit too. I don't think going down matters, but not that far. Okay. And we'll place a block. We can't. There it is. Okay, so once we place the block, we want to put a mega torch down so mobs don't spawn and bother us. And then we can grab more of these guys and start expanding this. So I made a platform that should be 13 by 13. It might be 15 by 13, but it'll be fine. The reason why I did that is because we're going to use the mob from industrial for going, what are they called? Mob crushers. So let's go ahead and make those. So we have these mob crushers that we can place like so. Let's get rid of this guy and grab another mega torch. I placed that in the wrong place. And let's put down inventory cables. So what we want to do is, do these guys? Yeah, these guys pick up blocks. Let's grab their upgrades as well. And we need a plus 12 also. Yep. Now these guys are fully upgraded, and if you look at their range, they go all the way out to here, so we can expand our platform a bit. And for these guys, so the block ends right over here. So we only want to expand from that point. Now when we build it, it'll be within the confines of that. Okay, now if we take a look at the binding box of all of those mob crushers, you can see that we made a small mistake. But after that, we should have a perfect match. So anywhere on this entire platform that mob spawn, these guys will be able to kill them. So next we want to supply this guy with power. And why don't we use an ender cell? But of course, I'm going to use Super Factory Manager. Put the disk in there. We'll call this Apotheosis Farm. Oh, we didn't define the undercell. That's what's going on. Let me that. Okay, so all these guys have power now, and they should be working. So if I break this mega torch and fly up, you can see a bunch of Endermen spawn, and they're immediately taken out. That's a lot of them. Let's put the torch back. So now these guys are full of loot, both high-level armor as well as gems and essence. We probably want to trash that. Do we want to set up a wireless thing here? Let's grab a trash can. I think I'm going to just trash the experience. Maybe I'll change it later, but. And then what we need is a barrel from sophisticated storage. Okay, so we're going to input every 20 ticks do. We're going to input except doesn't work with tags. Okay, so let's input with tag, and we're going to do C. What is it for armors? C armors. And C tools. Does this one also have C tools? Yeah. So we're going to input with the tag C armors. Armors. And I wonder if you can do two. Let's see. Hashtag C tools from mob crusher. And we're going to output to barrel. And then we're going to input from mob crusher and output to trash. So this should pick up all the armors and tools first and put those in the barrel. And then it's going to input from the mob crusher all the rest of the stuff that are not armors and tools. And then it's going to put those in the trash. We also want to add input Apotheosis gems from mob crusher. We can put that with the armors. Okay, so now we have the barrel, the trash. We move that back. We need to define a side. Let's just call it bottom side. What's going on here? These guys are called Apotheosis Gem, no S. If you want to double check to see that, you hold Control and press space on the item, and it shows you all the things. I guess it's only one, but if it didn't exist, then it would show you nothing. So those guys are going. Now let's just define a side. We'll go bottom side and bottom side. So you see all of the tools went in here. The gems are also going in there, but these guys are not being trashed. Is the trash labeled? It is. And for the trash, we'll say top side. Oh, this guy has to be bottom side. Okay, and everything else is being trashed. Now we also have to do that with the fluids. So let's see if this works. If we input fluid from up pressure bottom side and do output to trash. So this one we can say output item, comma, fluid to trash. So now that is going to the trash tube. Okay, so essentially with this setup, if we remove the mega torch and fly out, you can see a bunch of Endermen are spawning. They're all being instantly killed. Their normal vanilla drops are all getting trashed, as well as the experience we're collecting from them. And then all of the gems and armors are getting kept inside of this chest. So let's put down a mega torch. And now we have all of these things we are going to want to pass through a salvaging table. So let's grab. There is that. We can put this guy on top here. So now the gems, do we want to keep any of the gems? We should probably keep the gems, huh? Let's get some stack upgrades. Whoa. That was cool. And can these guys go in the salvaging table? They cannot. We'll have to put those guys in the trash if they don't go in. Like the normal things that are not part of the Apotheosis. So the gems will stay. So we're going to input. This one will be the salvaging. Input with C tag. Oops. Hashtag C armors, comma, with hashtag C tools from barrel. And we're going to output to, let's call it salvager. And then the rest that don't go in there, we're going to output to trash for the normal item pieces. And we'll do a forget, and then we're going to input from salvager, let's call it bottom side. output to barrel. Let's see how this works. Okay, so all of the armors, most of the armors. Did this break? We did get these guys, the arcane sands, but for some reason these aren't going. Do these not have? They do have the tag. And they should be going into salvager. Interesting. Something worthwhile you want to try for having issues like this with Super Factory Manager is click on Rebuild Cable Network. And sometimes that fixes things. Sometimes it doesn't. So some of them are going, but I guess the ones that are stacked are not. Let's take all those out. Okay, so I took out all of the upgrades, and it's still not going. Let's just delete all of the armors. Turn this on for a second. What if instead of using tags, we do input except mythic, or sorry, material? Comma, Apotheosis gem from barrel. So this will pick up everything except for, okay, that seems to be working, and we can put those back in there. So the gems are staying. Okay, this seems to be working rather well. I guess it's not working super great with tags. I don't know if it's a issue with Super Factory Manager or if it's an issue with, it's probably not because this one works just fine. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's with sophisticated storage and it being stacked or something. Anyways, so almost instantly we have 2 stacks of Godforge pearls, which is the highest tier ones, and we're also getting gems, which is nice because you typically don't get gems. So these guys are all going. We can let this run for a little bit. I'm going to go up in the air so mob spawn, more mob spawn, and I'll let this go for a few minutes and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I made kind of a rookie mistake where I just set this up and went AFK for like maybe 10-15 minutes. Bad idea. Keep an eye on this. You're gonna get yourself in trouble with the MBT data in here. So I'm a little laggy, but it doesn't look too bad. It's only been 10-15 minutes and I have more things than I'll ever need. So with a lot of these gems, I'm going to crush them down, but some of them I'll keep. So we can take a look at maybe the flawless ones. And let's keep the flawless ones. And we can crush the rest of them. So I'll put those guys in my system as well as the perfect ones. I shouldn't have any more perfect ones. Okay, so all of these guys we can crush in here. Oh, no way. It's 1 by 1. That's crazy. So because this is 1 by 1, you only want to put in 12 at a time. I think that's why I deleted a bunch of my dusts in the B setup. You only want to put in 12 at a time. Ah, shoot, I deleted all my... I deleted all the gem dusts because of... this. We also need to do accept the gem dust, which is gem underscore dust. You might be wondering, what's the point of doing all of that? Why do we need all these gems and all these dusts and these rarity materials? What do they all do? It basically adds another way of enchanting your equipment that's a little bit stronger than normal enchanting, and you can have both on there. So if you take a look at my pickaxe here, I went ahead and put some of those enchantments on here. And you can see I have my normal enchantments, sharpness, looting, silk touch, lifesteal, all of those. But at the top, you can see that those yellow writings and the bullet points. So those are the extra things. Like, for example, the one in the middle, it says slain enemies have a 6% chance to be loot pinata. And what loot pinata does basically is it re-rolls the loot table for the mobs 20 times. So you can kill one mob and it's like killing 20 of them in terms of the drops. Then it also gives you sockets, so you can put those gems in it for extra things like luck or damage. And you can see I have some extra stats, so it boosted my attack damage, that orange. And I also have fire damage, luck, and overheal. So those are all part of the Apothic enchanting, I guess you can call it. So over here we have a few tables, and I'll show you how you do that. First is the gem cutting table. And this basically just allows you to upgrade gems from one tier to the next. So if we take a look at flawless gems, for example, let's just take these guys. We will also need the dust. And we put the dust in there. Oh, and we also need the Godforged pearls. These are the highest ones. So we put all those guys in there, and I can see you put your gem that you want to upgrade in the middle, and then what you're going to upgrade it with on top here. So these are both flawless. So when I press upgrade gem, you can see that the one in the middle, it used one of these and the one in the middle, and now it's a perfect one. So it's a way of combining two flawless gems together with some gem dust and Godforged pearls, and you get a perfect one. So you can basically do that to upgrade the flawless up to a perfect. You can upgrade any tier up, but the flawless is the highest one. I mean, the perfect, sorry. Okay, so that's how you upgrade gems, and then you can put these inside of your tools. So I have two sockets available on my Paxel here. And if you take a look at this one, it says mining tools gives plus 50% mining speed. So you can just do that in a smithing table. And if you put the two in together, it might not work because that's a Paxel. Let's grab a pickaxe and I'll show you how you can add. Let's just grab, well, this one. So we got this as loot. You can put it in there and it has 4 empty sockets, and you can see there's the 50% mining speed on there. So if we put 2 of those together, now it's 100% mining speed. You can see that it works very fast. Okay, and then so that one. Then there's the reforging table, and this is how you turn something. You give it the enchantments, and the way that works is we can use our pick. So the thing you want to do goes in the middle. You need these sigils of rebirth. So you put the weapon in the middle. Sigils of rebirth go down here, and then your appropriate rarity material goes in there. So we want the max one, so we're going to use mythic. And I have 3 options to choose from. And you can't remove, like once you upgrade this, you can't remove the things from it, but you can always reforge it into something else. And the first one, this isn't the same as enchanting, where if you're like trying to enchant something, the third one is like the highest tier where you get better and more like higher level enchantments. It doesn't work the same way for this one. They're all the same, but you just pick the one that you want, and based on, so this would be like your first option. And then if you skip this one and do this one, it basically rolls this and then immediately re-rolls it to this one. And that's why it costs twice as much experience. And then 3 times for this one because you're skipping the first 2 and going to the third one. But if you take a look over here, you can see the difference. So this one gives us Ancient Knowledge, Sundering, and then our attacks deal 6 damage to nearby enemies. If you look at this one, we have Ancient Knowledge, Loot Pinata, and 7 damage to nearby enemies. So that one's not a great one. This one gives us Speed, Ancient Knowledge 2, and it does 5 damage. And then at the bottom, you can see it gives us Crit, Armor Piercing, current HP damage, and then our attack speed is increased. So you can kind of look through there and choose the ones that kind of best suit your needs. And once you level that up, you can come to the augmenting table. And when you put your weapon in there, or armor, you can individually augment and improve each stat. So luck right now is +6. It's maxed out, so we can't do anything with that one. But let's say like Infernal, it's at 8.25 and it can go all the way up to 10. And in order to do that, we need these sigils of enhancement. So let's make a few of those. And we'll put those guys in there and this in here. And let's say we want to increase Infernal. So it's at 8.25. We can either upgrade it or re-roll it. But it's already pretty high. It's 8.25. So I'm just going to re-roll or upgrade it. And now it's 975. And if we do it one more time, it's maxed out at 10 now. And you can go and you can choose each one. So attack damage, and you can upgrade those all individually until you have what you like. Okay. Same exact thing for armors. Like if we put our helmet in here, we have all these different things. So lightning damage taken is reduced, projectile damage is reduced, magic damage is reduced. Not a bad one. 400% submerged mining speed, more health, even more luck. So I'll kind of go through off camera and get some things that I like in there. And then if you wanted to look through all these sigils, there's a few different ones. So every time I scroll to this, you see how it has that Lucky, Aldemadi, Malloy, Paxil of Parting. If you want to get rid of that name, you can use the sigil of unnaming, and it just removes that. And you can do that in the smithing table. So if we make one of those, we can put it in the smithing table, and you can see that it just says Aldemadi, Malloy, Paxil. So you can do that if you don't like the weird name. And then we have sigils of socketing. So if we grab a diamond sword, for example, we can go ahead and put an empty socket in there. So a sigil of socketing gives you an empty socket slot, so you can put gems inside of it. And you can go up to 3 with this method, but you can get up to a maximum of 4, I believe, if you get it through the reforging table. Because the reforging table will also give you sockets. And then there is the sigil of withdrawal, which removes all socketed gems from an item. It does not give you back the gems, so you will lose the gems. But it keeps the item and it keeps the affixes on there. So with these things, it's another way of making our equipment even stronger. And as you can see, this one that has more damage on it. And it also sets the enemy on fire. And it also does AoE damage. Something unfortunate that happened off camera, a wandering trader spawned over here, and I went to kill it, and Alfred ended up being in range of the AoE. So when I killed the wandering trader, I ended up murdering poor Alfred. Rest in peace. I hope, I'm sorry. I hope I can get him back. But he is a demon spirit, so maybe he just went back to hell and we can summon him back. Okay, that's pretty much it for Apotheosis. There are these charms too that give you different things. So you can make these with the potion itself. So if you wanted, see how this one says it's invalid potion charm? And this one's Charm of Flying because you have to use the potion inside of it to do that. So instead of making the 30-minute potion things, you can make the charm and then you can put it on and off and do that. Sometimes you can even find these in the world, I think. You can get them as drops. EMI LOOT is still not working, so I don't have it activated, but I can't see. But anyways, that's pretty much it for Apotheosis, like Apothic Enchanting and the gems. And this is the Apotheosis Enchanting Setup. So with these two combined together, we have some pretty crazy armors and weapons. Well, anywho, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.